And the top I'm wearing is a top that I made. I'll put the pattern up there because it's the one that I've made quite a lot of. 3/4 length sleeves because I like a 3/4 length sleeve. I made 2 tops from this. One of them has a polo neck collar, which was an ABBT, which I followed. I think it was Joy had done some variation to it. She'd hacked it a bit, and I basically the other one I did a variation of it, and this one was just the t-shirt type version. It's been in my wardrobe. I completely forgot about it. There was a shirt on top of it, and I put it on, and his lordship is babysitting, and he video chatted to me earlier on. He says, "Oh, you look lovely. You look absolutely gorgeous. Is that a new top?" And I said, "No, I've had it ages, but you've never noticed. You've never said anything." So that's the top. Anyway, I wanted to show you this one, which shows you because it's easier to show you with it not on. It has the collar, the cuff bands like that, and on the bottom there is it's as I say, I was going to say cellophane. It's chiffon, so it's see-through, and it's just added as a band to the bottom, and then on the side it's a V that goes right from, if I can show you, just from below the armpit. They've opened the seam out and they've put this fabric, well, in this case they probably didn't open the seam out, they didn't have the seam open, they didn't sew the seam up, but they put that, inserted that V inside it. So the actual bottom has the seam going down the side and then the panel on the front. That panel stops, oh yes it does, the panel goes round the back. I'll bring it down a bit. The panel goes down round the back. This is the back, and here you've got it's got a seam down there, and then it opens up there, and you've got this panel of chiffon at the back. I thought it was rather nice. Now this one I paid, as I say, it's Class. It's a company called Class, and it was £25. So I didn't think that was too much money to spend there. But I haven't worn it yet. I was going to keep it for Christmas. We have booked to go for lunch on Christmas Day because it's just going to be him and me again. We decided we'd see if we could book for lunch, which we'll have at our favourite pub. But whether it takes off or not, I don't know, because nobody knows what's happening with the lockdown. I gather that a lot of other areas are getting worse, and our numbers are going down. We don't have a great amount of numbers, thankfully. And so don't know what's going to happen at Christmas. Our son has bought a tent. His lordship's son has bought a tent, and he's got it in the back garden. It's like a marquee thing, and he's bought a heater, and he's invited us on the 27th to go down and see them, and we'll sit outside and have a glass of wine and celebrate with them. Better get well wrapped up for that one. I'm going to have my hat, my scarf, my coat, everything, thermals on, the whole lot. We've also got, this came up again, another one from Hotter. It's just come this morning, another pair of shoes, and I thought, ooh, £19. I can't complain about those when they're normally about 60 or 70. So the one that I've got today is, they're a pink pair. And that's them there. They're like a salmony pink pair with a wedge heel. I can wear these kind of heels. I don't wear them very often, and I won't be wearing these very often. As I say, it's just going to be for occasions when we're going out on an evening, or if we are going somewhere. And the reason why I like these is they kind of are more natural to the colour of your skin, and they don't stand out. So if you're not very happy about your feet, I mean that looks, if I can get my feet into there, hang on, my hand into there, putting feet into there, it's less noticeable, and with your nice little toes all painted with nail varnish, it doesn't look as noticeable. So I tend to buy more natural coloured shoes. I have got, as I say, don't always wear them, so hopefully, I think I'm hoping that this summer is going to be a fantastic summer next year, and we're going to be able to get out so that I can enjoy wearing all these shoes I've got. If not, I'm going to have to find it. I'm going to have to pass them on to the daughters. I think that's all then. That's all I've got to tell you. There was something else I wanted to tell you, but I'll think about it. And if I can remember what it was, I'll tell you. Hello everybody. It is December the 10th. We are getting on, aren't we? Which reminds me, I must sort a birthday card out for my son. It's his birthday coming up. December the 10th. So let's get the December the 10th. And we'll start with the hemline. Hope you're all well. I haven't had a chance to read your comments. I read some of your comments this morning. I managed to upload the video last night, and I read some of your comments this morning before I got out of bed. But I haven't had a chance all day, and his lordship has been away today, but I've been doing all my work, and I sat down on the sofa at about 5 o'clock, and the next thing I knew I was fast asleep. And thankfully my granddaughter sent me a WhatsApp message which woke me up. Bless her, she is so... She's thin, she's not... And they're having to sit in the classroom with windows open, and she is suffering from chilblains. And her poor toes are bright red. And... I used to have chilblains, her mum used to have chilblains, and I remember one time her mum was quite thin, a lot thinner than I am. Gets it from the dad's side. The mum, and she had thin fingers, and she came in one night and the ends of her fingers were almost blue, and I thought, oh my goodness me. And it's Raynaud's disease, and apparently when it gets really cold their fingers go blue. And I was a bit concerned, and I kept saying, you must wear gloves, you must wear socks, you must do this. And I remember my mum saying the same thing to me. So this little one has got very bad chilblains, bless her. And she just messaged me because my daughter said, Mum, will you have a word with her and tell her about when you had them? So I've been messaging her. She woke me up. Anyway, it is the 10th, and the 10th is this long one, the longest of the long one, the last of the long ones. So let's see what I say, what it turns out as. Which way are they? Ready? Now then, it is polio tissues. Polio point turner. Oh well, I've got one of these already, so that's 2 of them. When I reach 10,000 votes, you're going to be, you might receive one of these. Yeah, a point turner. I've just quickly, I haven't even shown you it. Look, a point turner. And oh dear me, there, a point turner, and I would assume that bit's for when you're sewing buttons on and you don't want that, you want to have the gap between the button. I might do some little videos about that kind of thing. Oh, there's another one there, one there and one there. I'm not quite sure why there's 2, but not a bad little thing. Measurements along the edge, it's got 1 to 10 centimeters on one edge. I don't know if you can see that. 1 to 10 along there, and 1 to 3 along there. Not bad, not bad. So there we go, that one there. Now then, now for my L'Occitane one. Will it be a tube? Will it be a bottle? It's number 10. Where's number 10? 10 must be over this side, because oh, there it is, right, this one, number 10. It's quite awkward, this 10. The whole box smells lovely. Come on. 10. Oh, tilt you down, you're not seeing anything, are you? 10. 10. Oh, another tube! When I can get it out. Come on. Another tube. And what does this tube say? Oh, it's intensive hand balm for very dry skin. How can I do this? Can I do this with this? There's my intensive balm for very dry skin. I have had this one before. It's really good. It's a thicker cream. It's quite a thick cream. And I must put hand cream on about 5 or 6 times a day. And I've noticed, probably because I'm not going out to work, but I've noticed that my hands aren't as dry as they normally are. This is really thick cream. I haven't put much on, but I can feel that it's... The other thing that I've found is that I sometimes get arthritis in these joints, and I find that if I do that with the cream on both the joints, it doesn't half make it better. My husband swears by emu oil. He has, because he plays a guitar and he's got to be doing this all the time, he after he's done a gig, which he hasn't done for the whole year, but after he's done a gig, or even sometimes during the gig, his hand gets locked and he says, I can't move it. So he has to put emu oil on. He rubs it in, and apparently emu oil is very good for your joints. So that's another one to think of. So that one, it's a lovely smell as well. Bit like baby talcum powder. Bit like the talcum powder I used to sprinkle on my baby's bottom when he was little, when he or she was little. So that is dry skin hand cream. I reckon you only get about 4 or 5 goes on there, because it feels almost quite empty that are there. So I've only got about that much on. I might get quite a bit out of it, but it's they're not really generous in their tubes. And now to Sherlock Holmes. So this one is the Abominable Snowman. Look, there's a snowman sitting on the bench, Ben yelled to his playfellows as they crossed Hyde Park. Gosh, doesn't he look real? The snowman really did look as if he was alive. He wasn't made out of the usual 3 balls of snow. Instead he seemed to have been sculptured by a master in the art of snowman building. It's a bit creepy, it frightens me. Come on, let's knock it over. No, I wouldn't if I were you, his friend called out, who had noticed that something blue was shimmering through the snow on the snowman's arm. But he was too late. With a great push, Ben sent the snowman flying off the bench to the ground. What fell off the bench wasn't a mound of snow, it was a dead man. Encased in a blanket of snow, hidden from view of the people walking by, he had sat there waiting to be discovered. The boys looked dumbfounded for a moment. Then they would realise they were staring into the glassy eyes of a dead man, and they ran away screaming, "Ah!" A constable who heard their cries hurried over to the scene and asked the small group of onlookers standing by, Now then, what's happened here?" A doctor who quickly arrived was able to provide an answer of sorts. The cause of death was probably hypothermia. The dead person wasn't carrying any documents. He seemed to be about 30 years old and was too thinly dressed for the cold. It had snowed all night, as if Mother Holle had shaken out all the bedding in London. Later, the coroner estimated the time of death at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, and noted a large amount of frozen punch in the dead man's stomach. When Chief Inspector Lestrade was unable to reconstruct the course of events without further evidence, the police were at their wits' end. It wasn't the first time they asked Mr. Holmes for assistance. "Could you tell us what happened here?" You'll find out at the end of this, after I've told you about the next geography one. The British Isles at Christmas is number 10, and number 10, oh, it's a big one. Oh, it's a very big one. Not as big as number 23. And I think number 23 is the biggest one. What's number 23? Not as big as number 23. I'm just curious to see what number 23 is. Oh, this is number 10. And number 10 is the North Sea. And the North Sea is this band of water that goes down there, down this side of England. That is the North Sea. From here, if you go from where I live, back from that post box, right the way across, I end up in Denmark. And if you go here, right the way across this way, you will end up in Newfoundland. The North Sea is actually this. Because, I don't know if it's supposed to be an oil rig, because England has oil in the sea. And the oil rigs are nearly all around Scotland, around the off the coast of Scotland. There's some off the coast of here, and they're all the oil rigs are in the North Sea here. Now I can tell you a story about this. My daughter's best friend, her father worked on one of the oil rigs in the North Sea, and he was a vegetarian. And when he used to come home, he would come home for about 4 or 5 days, for a week, for 3 weeks I think it was, 3 or 4 weeks. And then he'd go back on the rigs for a couple of months, I think it was, something like that. And when he came home, they all had to be vegetarians. But the minute he went away, they all got the bacon sandwiches out and enjoyed having the bacon sandwiches. They weren't bothered about anything else, but they wanted their bacon sandwiches. So the North Sea is all that band of water down on the right hand side of England. And what does it say about the North Sea? Oil has been extracted from the North Sea since the 19th century, and in 1959 geologists found large gas reserves beneath the sea floor. Further new oil and gas fields have been found, and it is now home to 184 offshore rigs. Somebody's just come through the door there. It's a man with a plan. Come and say hello to everybody.
Hello to everybody.
So hello to everybody. He's
child minding.
Child minding. It's long and tiring, is it?
75 miles there, 75 miles back, and a day full of fun.
he sent me a video of it. She was playing, what was she playing? Windmills.
She was making it windy.
She was making it windy by swinging this beach shovel around her head, and it was, you know, a little plastic thing, and she kept going round and round in circles, getting very tired and falling over. But you tired her out and she got the side, didn't she? Do not cough in my face.
Sorry.
Be a good boy.
Hey, I came round the corner there, right, and at the end of that top cul-de-sac, I saw some people chasing something. And when I looked, the profile was a pig.
Oh, they're chasing a pig?
I think they've got a pig for the back garden.
They might have. What a good idea. Can we have a pig for our back garden? For our little portrait? I want a donkey. I want some chickens and a pig. I haven't got room. No.
You want a donkey?
I always said we'll have a little donkey in there.
Are you pregnant?
Eh?
Hey, well, donkey, baby.
Oh, Mary.
Christmas.
No, definitely not.
All right.
Are you off in there?
I am. I've got a big problem to sort out.
Oh, for any orders?
Esther was in tears on the phone.
That's just a look at a parcel?
No.
You're joking?
No. So I've got to get onto DHL and
that's going to be winging its way back to us.
Yeah, it will.
It's doing. Oh.
Oh,
what are you doing?
I've wrecked the mirror. Oh. It's all good fun here, you know. I'm off now.
See you later.
Oh, do you want a brew?
Yeah, I'll have a brew. I'm coming in a minute. Well, he sent a parcel out with trophies a week ago, over a week ago, a week yesterday, and the lady was expecting to get on the Thursday. She didn't get it, and she's rang up, and it was organised to go on the Thursday, then the Friday, and then on the Monday it was organised to go again, and then on the Tuesday he arranged for it to go to a different address, and it still hasn't arrived. And I've got a funny feeling it's going to come back here, and they need it. I think they need it for this weekend. So not good. Anyway, I'm going to put a picture up here. And this is a picture that a friend of mine sent. In fact, I might put it after this. A friend of mine sent of his mother. A friend of ours just WhatsApped this to us. His mother, who is 89, has received her first vaccine for the coronavirus. That's not exceptional, except that his mother is 89 years old and she's still working. She works for a consultant in the hospital, in Leeds Teaching Hospital, and when she got to retirement she didn't want to retire, so she carried on working until she was 70. Then her husband retired, and so she decided to retire with him, but she couldn't stand being at home with him because she said all he would do was just reading the paper, not doing anything. So in the end she decided to go back to work, and this consultant was willing to have her back because he knew exactly how, she knew the ropes, she knew everything, she could read everything that he had to do backwards. So she went back to work. Then her husband died, and she stopped the job for a while, just while when he was poor. I'm not sure if he was poorly or if he just died, but she stopped, and then she couldn't take it anymore, so she went back to work again. So she's still working for this consultant at the ripe old age of 89 years old, and she loves it. She absolutely loves it. And this is the picture of her getting her injection. Anyway, we shall go back to Abominable Snowman. This is Holmes talking. Punch, you say? Dear Inspector, you can send your crime officers home early for once. We can exclude any third-party involvement. I see the cause of death clearly before me. Let me tell you. A small company is having a Christmas party. The mood is festive. People joke with colleagues and sidle up to their bosses in time for the next round of promotions. A lot of punch is drunk and everyone enjoys the buffet. At some stage, our man decides to go home, but has had a drink too many and leaves his overcoat hanging in the cloakroom. As usual, it's impossible to get the cab at this time of night, and he decides to take a shortcut through the park, drunk as he is. It seems a good idea despite the increasingly heavy fall of snow. In the middle of the park, our man feels an urgent need to relieve himself, and as is so often the case where alcohol is involved, he can't wait. He dives behind the bushes. At just this moment, the night watchman crosses this part of the park on the lookout for last stragglers, sees no one, carries on to the exit and locks the gates behind him as he leaves. You will be aware that Hyde Park closes its gates at midnight, and they stay locked until 5 o'clock the next morning. So when our man arrives at the gates just a few minutes after the guard, he finds them firmly locked. He goes back the way he came, but the other gates are locked too. There's not a soul anywhere he might approach for help. His hands are too cold to manage climbing the fence. He now notices the lack of a decent coat and is suffering from exhaustion. All he wants is a little rest for a moment to get his strength back. The alcohol means he still feels warm enough, but why are his arms so heavy all of a sudden? His fingers are blue and numb. He recalls rubbing himself in snow is supposed to counter frostbite and speed up the circulation. He takes a pile of snow and rubs himself down. Unfortunately, this is a common fatal mistake. The freezing snow extracts the last of his body heat. The alcohol does the rest. Having widened the blood vessels, he may not notice the cold. Having widened the blood vessels, he may not notice. Having widened the blood vessels, he may not notice the cold. But in reality, it means that the heat is leaving his body more quickly. Rubbing away, he realizes that he no longer has enough strength to even stand up, let alone call for help. The flakes of snow fall more and more densely and the world grows dark. The next morning, 2 boys playing in the park discover a snowman sitting on a bench, looking uncannily real. Another not really a murder, but still good fun to read. So that is it. I'm going to go back into the house. We haven't put a Christmas tree up because, to be honest, we can't be bothered. But we have put Christmas lights all around the place, and we found this rotating light, Christmas light that's in the kitchen, and it's going around and shining all these little lights, and we've got one doing the same outside from the conservatory window to the fence outside, and the cat loves playing with it. She's watching it going round and round. So at that, I'm going to love you, and I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to catch you next time. Bye.